Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is Pi for those that do not know, and I am going to be reviewing Love is Blind Season 6, Episode 6. So before I get into the review, if you haven't already, go ahead, hit that like, comment, subscribe, and also make sure you click on the bell. The bell is the notification button that alerts you so you know that I have dropped a new video. You guys definitely don't want to miss out on that. So this was a really good episode, y'all. They're in the DR. It's day 2. We're seeing the couples. They just woke up. They're getting ready for the day. We see Amy and Johnny. They're poolside, enjoying each other's company. And Brittany and Kenneth, they are they're having massages. They have a little talk before, but they're getting massages. And then it pans over to Laura and Jeremy. And they are shooting arrows. And so Laura is talking to Jeremy about his motorcycle. Basically, she's letting him know that she is not here for the motorcycles. However, she would love if he could help her father rebuild or build something about like rebuilding his motorcycle. So I don't want you on a motorcycle because I'm guessing she's scared for his life. I definitely can understand that. But you can't help my father. And then she says, yeah, that was like one of the main things that was on my list when I came in this experiment. I was like, I have to find someone who can help my father rebuild his motorcycle. And I'm like, girl, you are crazy. Speaking of the list, Laura has a couple other things on the list. She is over the Hawaiian shirts. She does not want this man wearing any Hawaiian shirts. And he's like, those are not going anywhere. It was just the motorcycle and the Hawaiian shirts. She was like, 86 those. And he said, the Hawaiian shirt stays. But the motorcycle, I guess I'll give you that. Laura's a little bossy, it seems. And I feel like Jeremy gets on her nerves a little bit. Like he's a little aggy. It's giving he gets on her nerves a little bit. Because when they were in the pool in the last episode and he was like throwing that ball around or whatever he was doing, she was like, oh my God, is this my life? So I feel like Jeremy gets on her nerves a little bit. So next we see AD and Clay, and they are at the bar and they're having drinks. And AD's drink looks good. Girl, what was that drink? I love a good mysterious drink. It was like a smoky drink. You take the lid off, and all the smoke comes up. I love me a good drink, especially with a good presentation. So, AD, if you're watching, I need you to let me know what that drink is so I can try it out. So they're having drinks. And AD starts talking about calories and, you know, how she makes sure that she's watching what she eats. She was like, I don't like waste my calories, basically. So I guess she counts calories. I used to count calories. I think that's a really good way to lose weight. That was a few years back I used to do it. And when I tell you I was really good at counting calories, I still do it a little bit today. But a sister be wanting a cupcake. I'm sorry. I love me some sweets. That is my biggest issue. And then she's talking about body types, and he's like, oh, you look good. Like, girl, you ain't got to worry about it. She's like, no, I look good because I work out. Like, I work my butt off. And he was like, I mean, even if you didn't, like, and you just worked out, you would still look good. And I'm thinking, no, because she's trying to tell him, like, men, y'all bodies versus our bodies is totally different. And he's like, really? Like, this is the first time he's ever heard of it. And she's like, yeah, like, I just can't be around here eating anything. And then she brings up if she was to get pregnant and, you know, of course she's going to gain weight. And he was like, oh, no, I wouldn't let you. And she was like, what? He was like, yeah, I'd be like, AD, you need to get your butt in this gym. And she's like, oh, my God, I can't believe you said it like that. That was so mean. And I was like, it really wasn't. Is it me? It's probably me. Was it mean to y'all the way he said it? I thought it was motivational. Like when I gain weight, because I'm a person whose weight fluctuates, it goes up and down all the time because I work out, but I also love a cupcake, like I just said. and a cookie and nachos and all that unhealthy stuff I love, right? So, but I also love to go to the gym. So my weight, it goes up and down. So my friends never tell me, even my family, nobody never tells me when I gain weight. Like I have to see it myself. And you know, sometimes it's hard for you to see that you have gained weight until you start putting your clothes on. And you're like, oh my God, these pants don't fit no more. You start looking in the mirror, or when you sit down, and you're like, ooh, I'm starting to get a little stuffy up in here. That's how I can always tell that, girl, you need to push back from the table, honey, and get back in Zumba, or get your butt in that sauna and get on that treadmill or something, sis. For me, I would love for somebody to be honest, be like, friend, you're getting a little thick there, thicker than usual. I would love it. I'm the type of person who loves honesty. So, but I understand, to each their own. So she thought it was mean. And he was like, I mean, I don't think it was mean. I'm just saying. He was like, if I say it like that, that'll be motivation for you to get your butt in the gym. And she was like, he's like, you know, you got to have these hard conversations from your husband. And she's like, I mean, I understand all of that, but just don't be so mean. Like, be nice. I'm like, it wasn't mean, but I digress. He was like, you know what? You're right. You're right. I need to learn how to deliver things a little bit better. That's why, you know, I need you to challenge me. Just like in the pods, you challenged me, and I need that. And I'm thinking, sir, you need to be challenging yourself. Like, why are you putting everything on AD? And he said something about him being effed up. And when I tell you, AD was like, see, I just love that, because it's just so powerful for you to even admit it and say that, you know, you are effed up. Like, that's sexy. That's a turn on. Huh? That's a turn on? That is not a turn on. That is not a turn on. AD, no, baby. But we do have to remember that AD said that she was, you know, what, a fixer H, she likes a build a bear type man situation. So it made sense. Um, so then we see AD, and she starts talking about her childhood issues and her going to therapy, and how all of that, you know, she's doing the work, and it has definitely helped her significantly. And I'm definitely an advocate for therapy. I love therapy. I think everybody can benefit from it. It is so helpful. And I've gone myself, need to go back, but I love therapy. So Clay is saying, like, you know, he needs to go to therapy as well, because he has some issues with his father as well. So I guess they're kind of like trauma bonding there or whatever. And then AD says, but the only thing that I feel like therapy hasn't really helped me with is love. And he's like, well, what do you mean? And she says, I don't feel like I deserve love. And he's like, what are you talking about? You don't feel like you deserve love? He was like, of course you deserve love. Like, why do you feel that way? And she says, just because, like, I don't have it. And he's like, man, you tripping. He was like, you definitely deserve love. You are an amazing person. How easygoing you are, how ambitious and motivational you are, how loving you are, how beautiful you are. In this moment, I was really here for Clay, because he was giving her so much reassurance. Like, I almost got teary-eyed. It was super, super sweet. He was like, you really, really do deserve it. And I need you to know that. And then AD was saying how, you know, like, it was haunting her. It's like one of her biggest fears when she gets married is she's not going to have her father to walk her down the aisle, like, you know, other women have their fathers. And he was like, okay, well, you know, I get that. However, marriage doesn't always have to be a traditional thing. Like, you're super, super close with your brothers, as you told me. You can have your brothers walk you down the aisle. Like, don't let that, something that you can't control, because her father's passed away. So don't let something that you can't control, you know, scare you and take that moment from you. And like I said, I really, really appreciated Clay in this moment. I feel like he has some really good qualities and could be a good um partner. I want to say husband, but I'm gonna go ahead and say partner. But I just feel like he's still a little bit immature. So hopefully we see some growth with Clay before they walk down the aisle. But I definitely appreciated him in this moment. So then the camera pans over to Chelsea and Jimmy, and they are taking a nice stroll on the beach. And Chelsea immediately starts talking about how self-conscious she is because this is going to be the first time that Jimmy gets to see her in her bathing suit. And what if he doesn't like it? Blah, 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 blah. I think everybody has a little insecurity, right? I know I do. Chelsea's insecurities are draining me, Lord. They're draining me. And I know they got to be draining Jimmy. Let's just put a pin right there because I'll be back to that topic at the end of this video. So Jimmy asks Chelsea, if we were on a dating app, would you swipe right on me if we never, we didn't know each other? And she was like, well, I never dated a blonde before. And I'm looking at him like, Jimmy's a blonde? I thought that, well, dirty blonde. I don't know. Maybe white people just call it blonde. But he don't look like a blonde. I think blonde, I'm thinking Kate Hudson. Like, that's the blonde I'm thinking. But I guess he is blonde. So she says she's never dated blonde. But yes, she would swipe right. I mean, she's crazy about this man. Why wouldn't she swipe right? Why did he ask this question? So, of course, she asked the question back to him. And he says, I'm not on dating apps like that. Jimmy is so full of ish, it's ridiculous. First of all, you asked this question and you said swipe right. So obviously you have to be on dating apps enough to know which direction to swipe it in. Okay? So that's number one. Number two, why would you ask this question if you weren't prepared to answer it? And number three, why don't you be honest for once in your life? My God. Jimmy is getting on my nerves too because I feel like he's just never honest. And I'm just waiting for the moment when he is finally honest. Or maybe he really does like her and it's just given that. Maybe it's the edit. Chelsea talks about, saying I love you and how it makes a woman feel or how it makes her feel and saying like, you look pretty. She was like, that type of validation makes a person, feel secure in a relationship. And and also about trust and validation. She said the reason why those things are good because to hear from your partner is because she has been cheated on, and so it makes her feel a type of way, and she has obviously some insecurity issues from that relationship. She's a little damaged from it. And so Jimmy was like, well, I've never been cheated on and I've never cheated. So I also don't feel like you would cheat, so I don't think I'll have that issue. I hope not either. So now it is time for my favorite part of the first half of the season is when all the couples finally meet. And everybody's walking up. They're all dressed up. They look nice. So my girl 80, she had to steal the show. Sis came through and she worked it, okay? So when the couples walked up, Chelsea, she did a mini T-Rex run. I want Chelsea, are you listening? Please stop with that run. Chelsea is so goofy. Please stop with that run, sis. Please. It don't look, maybe when she watches the season, she'll be like, oh Lord, I don't need to do that no more. I want Chelsea to stop with that run, okay? I know I'd be going hard on Chelsea, but Chelsea just, ever since she did my dog Trevor wrong, I've been having to get with her. So we see the girls and they're having girl talk, and Chelsea decides to tell the ladies that Jimmy is huge, not big, he working with something. Baby said he was huge. And everybody was like, oh, girl, compared to what? This palm tree? That was Laura crazy self. And she's like, the Lord blessed him. I said, oh, Lord. I want to know how huge too myself, because he don't. Okay, never mind. We see the guys and they're talking, they're catching up. And Jeremy is saying that last night was so cool because, you know, he finally got to hang out with Laura for the first time. But it was also weird because it's the first time that we're hanging out and I've been knowing you now for what, 10 days. So this is just so weird. He was like, was it weird to you guys? And or was it natural? And Clay is like, no, it was natural. And here's Jimmy. Oh yeah, it was natural. I'm thinking, child, that was not what we seen on that screen. It was super awkward. Super. Chelsea kept asking you, I love you. Do you love me? Are you good? Are you okay? How are you? Do you still feel the same way about me? Like, no, that's not natural, Jim. If you think that's natural, that's not natural. One time is enough for asking that question, not 19 times squared. So then we see Jimmy talking to Clay, and he's like, yo, 80 is looking good. Y'all are looking good. Are y'all okay? And he was like, yeah, she looks nice. And at first I'm thinking, oh, he's just giving her a little compliment. So next thing you know, he's talking to Chelsea, and he's telling Chelsea, he was like, man, AD stacked. And so Chelsea's like, yes, she's a bookshelf. That's a bookshelf over there. AD, how did you get a booty like that? How'd you get a butt like that? And you look good. And I mean, like, she was kind of egging this on, right? So AD, she was like, honey, so she started doing a little shimmy with her bum bum. She's like, I go to the gym. And next thing you know, Jimmy is now over there talking to AD. And is it me? Or was Jimmy and AD just a little bit too comfortable? I mean, they were really close. They were really, I think he hugged her once, but they weren't close like that. But it was given, like, if I didn't know any better, I would have thought these two liked each other a little bit or something. Now, it was just for, I mean, it was he had a long conversation. I'm talking about a long conversation with her. But he did, you know, towards the end, ask her about Clay. And she said that he was a bit much. She was like, you know, being in the pods, it was one thing, but being with him every day, or all day, not every day, because it's only been like 2 days. But being with him all day, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's a lot. So, you know, I'm still trying to take it all in. So then he decides that he wants to compliment AD again and tell her that she has style, because he still has on his gym shorts. He had on gym shorts and like a collar short sleeve shirt. Jimmy, well, he's a country boy, so, you know, but it wasn't giving country vibes. I don't know what that was. So I'm like, okay, there's another compliment. It's like compliment number 3. Jimmy, do you have a crush on AD? Like a little small crush? Let me find out. So then we see Chelsea and Amy talking at the bar, and I can't remember if it was Chelsea or Amy. I think it was Chelsea. Chelsea was saying that she was feeling sick and she wasn't feeling good. And Amy like, girl, let me get my drink real quick and we can sit down and talk about it. But hold up, I got to get my drink. Hold up. So they get their drinks and they go sit down, and she's just like, she said, so what happened? Amy says, what happened? And Chelsea is like, you know, he gave AD this compliment and about her body, and I'm like complimenting it back. You know, she said, I called him out on it. I'm like, AD, I don't consider this calling him out, but she said, I said, AD, Jimmy says that you look good or whatever. And she was like, you know, I just tried to make an uncomfortable situation comfortable. And I'm thinking, that's not really how you do it, but okay, sis. And so Amy is like, yeah, I understand, because, you know, it's one thing to say somebody looks nice, but to just go on and on and on and then leave you over there by yourself, like, that's a bit much, especially, you know, while I'm standing right here. And like I said, Jimmy was going a little bit too far and too long for me. But me personally, if I was Chelsea, we all would have been having that conversation together, because I would have been posted up just like this. Mhm. Yeah, she looks good. So do I. Yeah, we would have been having that conversation together. So the camera pans back over to AD and Jimmy, and they're still talking, but they're wrapping it up at this time. And they give each other a hug, and a friendly hug, and she was like, he was like, I really enjoyed talking to you, and she was like, yes, I did too. You know, we should have more conversations. And I'm thinking, like, about what? What y'all need to talk about? No. Now Jimmy joins Laura, Amy, and Chelsea. So he asked Laura, you don't even remember me, do you? You were my first date. And she was like, I do remember you. She said, I think I wrote down Jimmy has a nice voice. And he was like, oh, okay. He said, well, I have a question. And he made sure. Oh, but side note, when he asked Laura about that first date, Chelsea's face dropped. And I'm thinking, he cannot know this girl. Like, he cannot know his fiance. Stop having these conversations in front of this woman. She cannot handle it. Even these, innocent ones, so to speak. So then he says, so I have a question for y'all, not you, Chelsea. But was it hard for y'all to narrow down the first 15? And they're like, no. Amy's like, oh, I'm really picky. It was really easy for me. And he was like, well, dang, I didn't even make y'all make the top 15 or like your first 15 or whatever it is that they do. So he gets up and then he walks off. And now we see Kenneth and AD talking. And actually, it's AD and Clay, and they're kissing and hugging. And Kenneth walks over and he's like, yes, black love, black excellent. I'm loving it. I'm digging it. And so, Clay is like, yeah, my baby, my baby, my baby. So Clay walks off, and Kenneth and AD are talking, and he's asking her how she feels about Clay. And AD says, I'm obsessed. You just told Jimmy a minute ago that he was a bit much. But you knew you weren't gonna tell that to Kenneth. You weren't gonna say that to Kenneth because Kenneth's gonna run back and tell that. She was like, I am obsessed, which I do feel like she is obsessed with him as well, because I mean she wants to build this man up. So you have to be obsessed to want to do something like that. AD then asked about Brittany, and he says, everything is going good. Like, we're getting along great. I really like her a lot. I've never dated a white woman before. This is my first being in an interracial couple. And AD is just taking it. She's like, yeah, okay. So how's that going for you? And he was like, yeah, like, we're taking it step by step, day by day. And AD's like, yeah, so, is that working out for you? She's a beautiful girl, wonderful girl, great personality. And he's like, yes, all those things. And she says, so, I just got to keep it 100 with you because she's going to be raising black children. Do you think that she is going to be able to, handle that? And he was like, basically in a nutshell, he was like, I think she's able to take care of that, to handle it. So I feel like that was a reasonable question to ask. Interracial couples are normal. Like, it's not like back in the day when it was like a rare thing. Like, so, but Brittany gives me the vibe that this ain't her first rodeo. I know she doesn't have any children, but I feel like she's dated out of her race before. I don't know. She hasn't told us, but I get that vibe from her. So now we see AD, and she joins Jeremy, Jimmy, and Clay. And yeah, I think that's it. And so she walks over and she was just like, oh, baby, I missed you. And it was like, come sit down. We're just having a conversation. Because before she walked up, the guys were saying how they just feel like everybody's couple fits perfectly. And I'm thinking maybe they see something that we don't. But she was like, oh, okay, yeah. And so Jeremy was saying how, before he came, he was like, there's just like no way in the world I'm going to find someone in 10 days, fall in love. But then I met that person over there, which rubbed me the wrong way. Why she got to be that person over there? And you know, I love her, and she's this wild, crazy, big personality. And you know, I found out about the bean dip, and AD is like, "Oh my God, not the bean dip!" And I'm thinking, "What's the bean dip? What?" Because as soon as they say a bean dip, I don't know why my mind just went to black people. I don't. Is it just me in my mind? It went to black people. I don't know, but it did. And he proceeds to, actually, he doesn't explain the bean dip. AD turns to Laura and is like, "Oh my God, girl, I cannot believe you said that." And he was like, "Yeah, she was trying to set me up. And she told me when you first walk, she's told me to do it when we first walk in." And AD is like, "Do what?" He was like, "The bean dip." And she was like, "To who?" And he was like, "To you." And she was like, "I will fight you. I will fight you. You bet not. You bet not." And Clay is like, so AD explains to Clay what bean dip is. And she says it's a titty smack where you smack your boob up and then down. And Clay is like, "What? Oh no, dog. You bet not do that." He's like, "No." Jeremy's like, "No, no, no. I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to do it. She's trying to set me up. She's trying to set me up." And so he yells over to Laura, like, "Laura, you're trying to set me up." So Laura walks over and she's like, "No, it was a joke. It was a joke. He wasn't even supposed to say anything. He wasn't even supposed to say anything." And AD is like, "This is just wow. This is crazy." So the ladies walk off, and AD is still talking about it because she's like, "I can't believe you did that and told him about that. Like, that's crazy." And she was like, "It was a joke. Like, he wasn't even supposed to like say anything. You know what I mean?" Because Clay had said that he was offended because Jeremy was like, "I hope I didn't." Laura was like, "Well, is someone offended?" And Jeremy was like, "Probably AD." And Clay said, "Well, I'm offended." So when the ladies walked off and they were still talking about it, Laura was like trying to brush it off like it wasn't a big deal. She's like, "It's just a joke. Like, no one has to be offended." And she was like, "It's a joke to you, but it wasn't to." AD said, "It's a joke to you, but it wasn't to him." And she was like, "Oh my God, this is giving children. This is giving child vibes." What? Girl, you telling your man to do something inappropriate to me, and now you want to try to brush it off like it's not that serious? Laura. Now, this is the second time you done did something crazy, girl. I'm watching you. They all decide to leave and head back to their rooms, and we see Chelsea and Jimmy. And Lord have mercy, all hell breaks loose. Chelsea goes off on Jimmy. So Chelsea is telling Jimmy how uncomfortable she was. She was like, "You're standing there, you're complimenting another woman's body, and you're spinning her around." And he's like, "I didn't spin anybody. I didn't spin anybody around. I didn't see him spin anybody around." Maybe they cut that part out, but I didn't see that. But you know, when you're a mad, angry, jealous woman, a crazy, deranged woman, in my Martin Lawrence voice, you see all kinds of stuff. Chelsea saw that man spin AD around and check her body out like she did when Clay first saw her for the first moment at the reveal. But it probably didn't even happen. So he's like, "It was, you know, we were just talking. Like, I was just gassing Clay up. Like, if you would have heard the conversation." And she's like, "I didn't hear the conversation because I walked off." And see, that was your first problem. You should have stayed right there. Why did you walk off? You should have stayed right there with your man. But no, you walked off. So I'm going to put a little blame on you. But we're going to put a lot of blame on Jimmy because, like I said earlier, you shouldn't have let that conversation go on for that long. And you should have never made those comments. Like, that was inappropriate. I'm sorry. And so she was like, "I was uncomfortable." So he was like, "I never want to make you uncomfortable. I apologize." That wasn't enough for Chelsea. So Chelsea starts crying and she's like, "You made me feel uncomfortable and you're doing this and you're doing that. And you left me. I was standing there by myself and everybody is just talking about how good of a relationship they have and how they love their partner." He's like, "I told everybody about you. I bragged on you to Clay. I bragged on you to Johnny. I bragged on you to Jeremy. I bragged on you to everybody. What are you talking about? I'm just sad because you made me feel so alone and I was there by myself." I'm like, "Oh my God, girl. And he's like, I'm sorry, I never want to make you feel sad. This man's apologized so many times in this moment. It is crazy to me. It's like, I don't know how many drinks Chelsea has had, but it's like everything that he's saying is going in one ear and out the other one. Because when he said, I never want to make you sad, I apologize, she was like, thank you. That's all I want you to do is just hear what I'm saying and how I'm feeling. But then she goes right back into, but you made me feel uncomfortable. Like, how is that supposed to make me feel? I was like, the man done apologized a couple of times. Like, I know he was wrong, but damn. But like I said earlier, when they were on the beach, Chelsea has a lot of insecurities. So, Jimmy, you can't do stuff like this. Like this lady she can't take it. She ends up screaming at him. He was like, you're treating me unfair. And she's like, you made me feel uncomfortable. You left me by myself. You just need to take it. I'm like, oh my God, girl. And then he like steps back and she grabs his hand. She's like, I love you. I love you. I'm like, Chelsea always likes to say, I love you as a problem solver. And so he grabs her hand, or she grabs his hand, and he pulls her up off the bed and they kiss. And he says, I love you too. And she said, are you sure? Whew. That was the episode, y'all. It was good. So I'm excited to see what's in store for the next couple of episodes. I meant to check before I got on here to see the date, because I saw the date, but I didn't pay attention to the actual number. But I'm excited. I can't wait to see what happens with everybody. I feel like Amy and Johnny are in a pretty good place. They have really good chemistry. I don't really see any issues, but I feel like some are coming with them. As we know, AD and Clay, per the trailer, are going to have some issues with him, wondering if he can be with only one woman. So there's going to be some issues with them. And I'm not going to say everything that was in the trailer, because some people probably haven't watched the trailer, but it's going to get juicy. So how did y'all like that episode? How are you guys liking the season so far? Has your opinions changed any since the first episode, or from last episode to this episode? Who are you excited to see come back? Because you know, when they do the like party get together, whatever it is, I don't know what it's like, cookout, whatever it is, where they bring everybody back, the people who didn't get engaged, they got to come back and stir up stuff. Who are you excited to see? I can't wait to see Jessica. I can't wait for not Trevor Lord. I can't wait for Jimmy to see Jessica. And I cannot wait for my boy Trevor to come back. I love me some Trevor. So I can't wait for Trevor to get back in here. Who else? I wasn't really a big old Sarah Ann fan, but that trailer, oh, I can't wait to see that. Like, this is going to be juicy. So I cannot wait. Yeah, I can't wait. So I hope you guys enjoyed the review, and I cannot wait to see y'all in the next one. If you haven't already, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Hit the notification bell, and I will see y'all in the next one. Bye.